Hey everyone, it's that guy over there. I'm bringing you game one of the Metagames tournament. My Lizardmen versus Warriors of Chaos, 2,600 points. So I'm up against a very good player, and he's brought kind of what you expect to face when you come up against Warriors of Chaos. I'll be running through this list in a minute, but I'm really just kind of excited to be putting all my miles on the table and actually playing a game with all the new stuff I've gotten. And I was joking before the game started that everything about this place was a desert. The table was a desert. The sun coming into the room made it feel like a desert. It was hot. Like the table, I thought I was gonna melt my Croxagores, honestly, with the fine cast. It was pretty brutal. So anyway, this is what it looks like. The game hasn't started yet, but we're all deployed. And I've done my Vanguard moves. The Ripperdactyls get to Vanguard forward, and I'll talk about maybe some mistakes that I made there. And then with my D3 Vanguard moves, I used uh, I rolled a 1. So uh, Teto Echo only Vanguarded forward my Troglodon, and I was trying to get within range for some death magic. And if I got first turn, I was hoping to pick him off real quick. And we'll show you my next slide. Yeah, so after having done this, I've noticed that Ripperdactyls, you really need to face them backwards if you don't want to charge uh, the thing that you're facing. And it's not that I didn't want to charge the Warhounds, it's just that my Bastiodon could have easily taken all this. And these Ripperdactyls probably weren't in the place that I wanted them to be at. And then this Troglodon, if I had just gone a little bit more to the right, I should have Vanguard forward kind of diagonally to stay out of the charge arc of that Demon Prince to avoid a charge. But what I did is I put him there. And again, the idea is that I can get within 12 inches, which could have easily been achieved if I'd gone off diagonally to cast some death magic and try to pick him off turn one. And that would have really been big help for the Lizardmen. Yeah. But anyway, he's got it's a Slaanesh Demon Prince, and he's got Lore of Slaanesh, so it's not Lore of Death. He's not going to be purple sunning me. Yeah, so that was I appreciate that. He had an unkillable BSB, or the quote unquote unkillable. He had a Chimera with who knows whatever kind of upgrades. 5 Slaanesh Marauder Cav and 2 groups of Warhounds. And in his center, it's going to be a scribbles all over, but there's I'm still trying to figure out how to label everything. He's got 15 Nurgle Warriors in the back there with a level 2 Sorcerer, Lore of Metal, 4 Skull Crushers with a banner, no champion though, 5 Corn Knights, a Hell Cannon, and a Mark of Corn Chariot. You can see how I've deployed. I really try to put the weight of my attacks across from him, and maybe that's a bad decision. Maybe I should have gone one side or the other. And I try to keep my high strength stuff kind of towards the right there, so that way we could deal with these flying monsters that were going to be coming at me. The Slan's there in the middle. I didn't want to get picked off by the Hell Cannon or the Demon Prince, so I put him in the unit. Yep, you see there. And then on the left here where my Rippers are. I've marked, for Ripper Toads, I've marked the Knights, the Warriors, and the Skull Crushers. So we'll talk about that. Acquiring targets with these guys is really critical for their success, and that's definitely something I need to work on. All right, so this is Warriors of Chaos turn 1. As you see, again, the sun is blinding, and my lack of paint isn't helping. But the Demon Prince charges my Troglodon. It was if not an automatic charge, it was a very close thing. So I just went ahead and fled. And you're not going to see any more pictures of him really because he never rallies and just runs off the table. It takes him 2 turns, but he just runs off the table. 200 points to my opponent. No sweat. All right. Besides that, you see everything else moves forward. The kind of nice thing about him charging and failing is that he only moved like 2 inches, which is great. The longer I can keep him out, the better. The two Warhound units, they move back to try to be at like max charge range from my rippers, so that way they fail and charge. And I think that was what he was going for. So that way I'd have to roll that test, and if I failed, that was going to be a long charge. Everything's flying forward. Yep, this is pretty nasty. He's got a really nice painted army though, so at least I get to look at something beautiful before it comes and smashes my face in. You get a little bit better view of his Nurgle warriors here as well. Yeah, see, he's moving his guys all the way to the back table edge, which is not awesome. Yeah, good move. All right, so he casts, in his magic phase, he casts Acquiescence on my Saurus unit. I think I just let that one go. It's a random D6 move. I take strength 4 hits. Not a big deal. So I just take it. There's so many. This hill is so awkward to put guys on that there's actually more. There should be 4 guys standing in the back, and I think he kills 4 right now. And I'm like, okay, well, they weren't there anyway, but here's the 4 guys, and showed them on the display board I had that I was for sure was going to melt in the sun. He casts Hysterical Frenzy on these guys. They continue to literally are taking hits, and nothing ever happens because they have a 1+ save and whatever. In his shooting phase, he misfires and devours all of his crew members, which is really good for me because now he's got to be taking rampage tests, and yeah, so I'm like, yes, this guy's out of the game, or so I thought. All right, Lizardmen turn 1. I'm still trying to get the hang of taking all these photos, especially on my turn because I'm trying to move. I'm trying to keep the tournament going, and yeah, so I just move up here. This is after the shooting phase even. So see, I've taken out a couple knights. I think I've even put a wound or 2 on these skull crushers. Oh, actually kill a skull crusher off. This is also in combination with me using death magic, trying to pick off the guys closest to me. The salamander has also fired into the fray there. All right, and yeah, so you see my turns are short. I'm still trying to figure out these taking pictures and playing at the same time. He charges my salamander. I flee through the Bastiladon, who I've just left outside of 12 inches from my general. So of course he flees too, but they both stay on the table. Tedoeko's fine in his little squad. And here's the rest of the charges. So yeah, the charges all over the place. You can see I move my Ripperdactyls up on the flanks there. So that way we can start threatening him. He tries to charge with the Demon Prince there. And I think this is him failing the charge because he's not going to move very far. And the rampage tests, he moves 3d6 in a random direction, and he gets into my rippers, which is not awesome because I cannot do anything against that monster. Yeah. So of course everything else charges in. That corn chariot redirected into the skinks after the Razor Dawn, the salamander fled. You see the Chimera made it into the Croxagore, and I thought that was an okay matchup for me. I'm strength 7. He's not going to kill them all. Yeah, everybody else just smashes in. The Marauder Cav charged into the flank of the Bastiladon, except he doesn't have a flank, so really they just charge him. And I'm okay with this because I'm actually kind of pretty confident that I'm going to do well here. Yeah, here's the Demon Prince flopping around in the back still. So he goes ahead and shoots off a magic missile. These are the skinks he was trying to charge. It was you had to take a leadership test and suffer strength 4 d6 hits. He rolls 1 and kills 1 skink off, and yeah, and then it fails because I passed the leadership check. I'm still within range of my BSB, by the way, so it's not like that was a fluke. After combat, the Bastillodon wins and actually chases down those Marauder Cav, which was pretty exciting because yeah, the Skull Crushers definitely destroy those skinks and overrun into my Salamander. And yeah, there's not going to be a picture that I take most of the wounds off that Chimera, but I don't kill him, and I lose two or three Croxagores, two Croxagores. So this is my turn. Back to my turn. I rally. Everybody turns around. I was lucky. 2 leadership 5 tests, and I made them both. I think the Salamander was still in, but yeah, that was lucky. He charges my Razordons, who failed originally. They tried to charge him when he was on the table edge, or the back table edge, and failed. So yeah, they're not doing a lot this game. I must have charged him. He must have moved forward, and yeah. So anyway, here's the charge into the flank of the BSB. As you see, all the skinks are dead, and I lost a Ripper. Only one Ripper to the Hell Cannon, which isn't too bad. Here's what the board looks like. Everybody's overrun those skinks. I'm sending up my next skinks to block those knights. Tedo's trying to hide by the Saurus, and my Saurus are kind of standing in the eye of the storm here as this storm of metal, chaos metal, just runs over me. I use some death magic and take out that level 2, which is good for me. That Lord Metal wasn't really a threat, but it's some points. And if I can kill the Demon Prince, then I'm going to be sitting pretty. The Croxagores, after losing 3 of their number, finally take out that Chimera. I didn't realize he had a 4+ regen, but yeah, I did a lot of wounds, and he made a lot of regen saves the first time, or else I probably would still have 5 Croxagores. Yep. And then I fight this Salamander combat, and that's when I realized that I did these combats out of order, because now they can just overrun into my Croxagores, and that's probably the end of those guys. My Ripperdactyls defeat the Hounds and overrun them. I think they just kill them outright, but I have to overrun. The Hell Cannon beats that last Ripper, and he flees. Yeah, there's kind of a as Once Bitten would say, a gong show combat here. I don't take any. I take 1 wound. Maybe take 2. Yeah, I take 1 wound, and I don't do anything to him. Which I think this was the turn that I got a killing blow, but he passes his 3+ rerollable invulnerable save, of course. But that would have been pretty nice to kill him, because that is not a monstrous mount, that's just a cavalry mount, so that would have killed him. And then I would have been in the flank of the Nurgle Warriors, which would have, and since I would have got rerolls to hit and super rage, and yeah, it would have been nice. But nope, their attacks did not get through. Here's just showing what my maybe, yeah, not sure what this is showing. All right, Warriors Chaos turn 3. He declares another charge with the Demon Prince. He charges with his chariot, trying to get around into my skinks. The Knights are also trying to charge in. This guy flees because he charges him first, trying to just get him farther off the table, and then he redirects. Demon Prince fails. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I think he makes it into my skinks, and I'm not. I think this is me pulling them off, but I roll really low, and he rolls really high, and he lands on him, and then he reforms, which is not cool for me. So yeah, I pull those guys off after. Yeah, so they kill off that little group of skinks that was there. They make it into that Salamander. Everybody passes their leadership tests. I'm liking that I can just redirect these Corn guys because they have Frenzy. Oh, you know what? No, the Corn Knights have just killed the Skinks and overrun just a little. the chariot had gone into the salamander from the beginning and defeats that and actually goes off the table, which is okay for me because that's going to take him out of the game for a little bit. And all right, so here's kind of a confusing picture. There should be an in-between picture where that Hell Cannon moves 3d6 forward and barely misses by an inch my unit. I swing a couple more times, don't do anything. He kills 2 of my Ripperdactyls. He flees over the Hell Cannon and prevents from being overrun. So he just reforms and faces forward. Yeah, so I'm like way out here. Oh no, that was the beginning of my turn. I fled again. I declare a charge into the flank of these Nurgle warriors, and I make it with my Bastillodon. The second unit of Warhounds, I charge in with my Bastillodon that had killed the Marauder Cav. The Ripperdactyls fly around because they realize they need to get into the battle quickly. The Demon Prince still looking at me here. He must have failed another. No. This is this is it. Okay. So Teto is moving around to get within 12 inches so that I can try to death snipe this character here. I get a spell off Irresistible Force, and I make my 4+ to stay on the table because he gets sucked into the warp on a 1 through 3. But look how much damage I do. Ouch. So it's looking not so good because Nurgle warriors are not easy to take down. Yeah, I end up not doing hardly anything to the Demon Prince, and I mean death just isn't working for me this game. My leadership rolls aren't particularly high when we do death snipe. I got all the snipe spells, and I just am not rolling high enough. After you subtract their strength and their toughness and their leadership, it's not as much as I need. So anyway, but here's after combat, I killed the Warhounds pretty easily. Yeah, so Warrior Chaos turn 4. He turns around. He moves on the table with the Corn Chariot. Declares charge with his Demon Prince. That BSB failed his charge, but yeah, this is looking bad for them. Yep, just showing that these guys are moving a little bit. I think no, I don't think he passes his test actually. But all right, yep, he's on the side. I think I accept the challenge with my champion. He eats the champion, and he's just got a rank of warriors left. If I can kill those warriors before I go down, then I think I'll be all right. As you see, my rippers have flown around now. I think this is where I missed a turn. At some point, no. This is for yeah. And I have to apologize about this. Something went wrong with my flash, so I'm just going to skip through these pictures pretty quickly. But over the course of this, my slang gets destroyed, and my Bastillodon does also. Yeah, so you see this. I think he actually beat me on my turn and then turn around because Warrior's Chaos 5 now. So he beat me on my turn, turn around, charge those rippers, and just destroyed them. Somewhere in here, you're going to see all these guys are just moving around. The game's going pretty quickly at this point. I do actually still have 2 Lizardmen warriors. You didn't see them in the dark, but they're trying to hide the best they can. So he's not getting points for the Lizardmen warriors unit, or the Source warriors unit. Yeah, so he's got he's just turned around to face my Bastillodon. He shoots at my Bastillodon with the Hell Cannon. This is the only shot he gets off all game. He direct hits it. I know it says a 2 there, but yeah, he actually does get 2 wounds, so I've got 3 wounds left. And I figure, I'm facing those Skull Crushers. Let me just go ahead and charge in because honestly, I want to do something at this point. I charge in and just die horribly. So not nearly as, I died before I even got to strike. It was pretty ridiculous. So, all right. But anyway, all you see left there is on the table is those 2 Saurus trying to hide out, and that's the end of the game. So it ended up being a pretty solid victory for the Warriors. I really didn't actually kill anything. I killed the Warhounds. I killed the cavalry. I killed the level 2, but I really didn't kill anything. So it was just a combination of the death magic. Didn't get the demon prince. I think if I had there's three things that I messed up with this game. The Vanguard moves got me. I didn't have those rippers in the right positions. They weren't going after the right targets, and that vanguarding um, that Troglodon into the charge arc of the Demon Prince was where I also messed up because I needed him to take out the Demon Prince with Death Magic. And then he just fled off the table and I couldn't rally him. That also hurt. The second mistake was prioritization of Ripper, the Blot Toad markers. The Rippers, they didn't get into any of the targets I targeted at the beginning. So what I need to do is decide what they're taking out and then put the blot markers there and charge those things. Not necessarily what they would have the best effect against or what I would like them to get into. It's like these are the targets I'm trying to get into. So the game plan is to get them in. I felt like I spent too much time fighting on the flanks and they just never made it to any units with the blot toads on them. I think if I'd put them on the BSB, that would have been good. I think if I would have put them on, yeah, I mean, the BSB would have been a good one to put him on because I might have actually killed him. I could have killed and blowed that guy, and that would have been sweet if I'd gotten that through the one turn I had the chance. If that killing blow had gone through, it would have been nice. So anyway, yeah, that's the end of the game. Yeah, I learned a lot. I had never played. I read a lot of battle reports about things like this, but I never played against something like it. So definitely learned a lot of lessons, and we'll definitely do better next time. So anyway, Battle Report 2 will shortly be coming, and I hope you enjoyed. Please comment, subscribe, like, post, whatever you want to do, and if you have any improvements I can make on this, I realize that the picture discipline wasn't the best. So yeah, I appreciate your time, and let me know what you think.